Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jake Roell here in the Speed Racing Network booth. I'm with my broadcast partner tonight, the one and only Sean Griffith. Sean, how's it going tonight?
Man, it is great. I've been looking forward to this all day long because last night's race was fantastic racing out there. I really think that these Xfinity Series drivers are going to have a great race as well with 38 cars out there on the track.
Definitely. Last night's showing in the Truck Series was absolutely on fire. Great racing all race long. We didn't have too many cautions, and kind of going to expect the same thing here tonight in the Jayhawk 150 here at Kansas Speedway. These guys, they're going to be ripping that wall, trying to make that low line work early on, but it's going to just be all about who's got the best real estate as soon as possible here in these Xfinity cars.
Well, one reason that we picked this track this early in the season is because it's a mile and a half, so you do have to lift off the throttle. You do have to know your brake points. You got to know where you're going into the corner, that sort of thing. The other part of it is you have to adjust throughout the race. In a lot of tracks, you do have to adjust, but on this one, you're going to have to adjust your line completely, which means you have to adjust even more on brake points and lift points and that sort of thing. So, and then there's the ultimate question of if we get a long green flag run like we did last night a couple times, then pit strategy. And so you're an expert on pit strategy. I think this would be your type of race.
Oh, you nailed the nail on the head there. Pit strategy, it's just something I've always enjoyed, just kind of the whole numbers thing. As you know, Sean, I'm pretty quick with math. So, this place, it definitely can lead into that if you get green flag runs. And for me, as someone that drives quite a bit, this place really just reminds me of a true mile and a half, but it races like Darlington when it moves up to that wall. And like you were saying, Sean, every single lap you kind of got to adjust with it. So it's a little bit better racing. Darlington can get pretty caution fest, but here at Kansas Speedway, there's a lot more room that the drivers like. So this is going to be a show here tonight for 100 laps, and that no fast repair that you see on the screen. That's really going to, bite some guys here if they get into that wall early on.
Well, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but last night was relatively clean, and that was with a series that had one fast repair. And so very, very impressive from them last night here at the Jayhawk 125 here at Kansas. But some of these drivers that are out there in the Xfinity Series, they have dropped down from the Cup Series to be in this league. And so the talent level is even higher than where it is in the Truck Series.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, got guys moving down, new faces that have come up from the Truck Series as well. And then you got a lot of guys that were here last season in the Xfinity. So there's just a lot of it's kind of like a Baker's mixing bowl here in the Xfinity Series. But a lot of these guys want to prove themselves. Last week at Daytona, that's always, kind of the lottery race. Anything can happen. So this is kind of that first race at a racetrack where it's a little bit more, driver oriented. So, but this is the second week of 20 weeks, Sean. We have obviously fixed setups each and every week. We've already alluded to the point that they do not have a fast repair. And these drivers pay a $10 weekly entry fee, which allows us to pay out, weekly as well as an end of the season payout with that first place championship series driver winning $500.
Yeah, where else can you get $500 when you're racing for $10 a week for only 20 weeks? And really, just a really great league setup. We have incredible drivers out here, incredible admins in this league. So I really think we've got a winning formula here for a good series. And one of those parts of that formula is that 5-person teams that are allowed. So the way we work that is we score the top 3 drivers on your team, and those scores go towards a point standing for the teams, and the team championship will get $200 to split. And so again, just more money sitting out there. And I know last season we gave away over $15,000 in prizes, and this season we're definitely on track to do that, and hopefully a little bit more.
Oh, and I'm sure we had some viewers that just got really big-eyed to hearing that $15,000. But I mean, that's really, that's the kind of money that's coming into this series or into the league and the Xfinity Series. And to pay $10 a week and have this kind of money for you to go out here each and every week to go win. I mean, it is the top of the top when it comes to the oval leagues on iRacing.
Yep, and you can see right here the race payouts. So we do pay out each individual week, like Jake was talking about. And so we've got first place getting $30, second place getting $20, third place getting $10, fourth place getting $10, fifth place getting $10. So it's not a ton of money from week to week, but it's just enough to wet your whistle. But I guarantee you, if you're coming in first, second, third here, that you have a shot for the big money at the end of the season.
Oh, without a doubt. And, you see third through fifth, you get your money back, so you can just kind of keep rolling that forward. Second and third, you start thinking about that. That's another 2 or 3 races to keep rolling it, moving you through the years. So if you keep racking up top fives and you get these kind of payouts, I mean, someone, very well, we saw, quite a few drivers consistently up front. They could never really pay, maybe more than $10 to, $30 if they finish up front that much.
No, definitely, and $10 a week to get in, it's not a ton of money. Yeah, it's going to add up over time, but so does the season payouts, and here they are right now. Those season payouts, they are looking absolutely beautiful here in the Xfinity series, and so you're talking $500 for first place, $300 for second, $180 for third, $120 for fourth, and that's all on top of the weekly prizes that you get.
Yeah, exactly, and then fifth place $80, sixth place $60, seventh place $40. And then eighth place, you get $20 for coming in eighth place in the championship. So there's just money, first through eighth. You can still walk away with that. And, if you're one of these top 8 guys, finishing in the championship, either first through eighth, you're going to be in that money week in and week out, most likely. That's just kind of the pattern we've seen, every single series, every single season we've done this. So you're definitely going to, make a good little side hustle, running here in the Speed Racing Network.
Definitely. Now, if you want some of that money, then a really good idea is to go out and get a coach, somebody that knows what they're doing around the track here on iRacing, and Kane Cook is that guy. So Kane is in our Coca-Cola series, not our Coca-Cola series, but the Coca-Cola series on iRacing. It's the highest series on iRacing, and you can see there the professional license. So he iRaces for a living. That's how well he does it, and he is known for starting from the back, working his way all the way up through the field to get to the front. He is the hard charger.
Yeah, Kane Cook definitely knowing what he's doing. And again, we've got sessions on our website. You could be a solo, you and a friend, or even if you got a team, like you have a team in our Truck Xfinity or Cup series. I've always heard really good things about these Kane Cook sim coaching sessions. So make sure you check our website, speedracingnetwork.com, book yourself a session, and, Kane can definitely teach you, some of the tricks of the trade.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the fastest guy on the track is Greg Olenek, and he has been working with Kane Cook religiously for a few weeks, and so it is definitely paying off. But let's jump into our new segment. We've got a new sponsor this season. The Beer Street Journal is out there sponsoring us, and we have put together a segment for them called the Beer of the Week. This week's Beer of the Week comes out of the New Realm Brewing Company in Georgia. They call it Tyrannosaurus Flex. It's part of the brewery's Monsters and Myths Double IPA series. The can itself is rocking a sweet 80s vibe along with a picture of the T-Flex himself. Inside the can, the beer is brewed with hops from New Zealand and yeast from Norway. It's an interesting combination that gives this double IPA some mango, pineapple, peach, apricot, and some other citrus flavors. This beer was originally released in 2019, but it fell into extinction until New Realm Brewing Company decided to bring it back to life. You can find this beer in all the New Realm Brewing Company locations, including Atlanta, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, Virginia Beach, and Charleston, South Carolina. But don't wait too long or the T-Flex may once again become extinct. The Beer of the Week is brought to you by Beer Street Journal. Beer Street Journal brings you reviews of the latest and greatest beers from all across the country. Go to beerstreetjournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 and please drink responsibly.
And there you have it. You see here the New Realm Brewing Company. That's their 3rd or 3-year anniversary can there for the Tyrannosaurus Flex beer. That's a good looking can right there. It's kind of gets you those sunny vibes out, at the beach kind of, and then a little T-Rex. So make sure you check them out. I got to imagine it's anything like that can, that's got to be a good tasting beer there.
Yeah, I really love these small breweries because they come up with all sorts of fantastic flavors, and really, really happy to have Beer Street Journal on board this season as a sponsor. So definitely go to beerstreetjournal.com and find your next great beer. But let's talk about the next great driver out here, and we got to look at the very top of this list. Inside the cut, Ryan Phillips with an impressive win last week.
Yeah, I mean, that was his first ever race inside Speed Racing Network, and what better way to start it all off with winning the thing at Daytona last week. And sure enough, that's why I see him on top of the board after a massive accident on the white flag at Daytona. He was able to, maneuver his way through it, brought home the checkered flag. Then you start seeing these other guys. You got Jovi Ray second, Seth Reed, another new driver. Then you got Devin Zimmerman, Danny Dow. Those are names we were very familiar with if you've been with SRN for quite some time. And you got Landon Lacey, one of those guys that dropped down from the Cup Series, now running Xfinity. I mean, it's early, Sean, but there are some names here I expect to see, the longer and longer we get into this season.
Oh, man, there's a lot of good names up here, but look at the outside the cut. There are definitely some equally impressive names down here. I'll tell you the first one that kind of sparks my interest here is number 33, or the 33 ranked driver, Adam Pettit. Adam is an insanely good driver, should not be in 33rd. It's only week one, but still.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of names. Like you said, Adam Pettit deservingly to be on that front page there. You got Aaron Gurwitz and Greg Olnick, two of his teammates, so to speak, from Rev Racing. Aaron Gurwitz last season was in the Final Five at Texas. Greg Olnick really came on really, really strong towards the end of the playoffs last year, winning the finale at Texas Motor Speedway. You see in 28th, Daniel Bowdler, another Final Five playoff driver. You go to the left side of that list, you still got some names. Ted Rekich, one of those guys that came down from the Cup Series. He was in the playoffs for our Cup season last year. And you got Logan Joyner. I mean, how can we forget about a guy that won the championship last season in the Xfinity Series?
I was about to say, yeah, the champ is on this list right now, and Ryan Ducombe as well, Vincent Cortez. I mean, just so many talented drivers here. It's going to be tough to cut it down to the top 15, but that's what we're going to have to do when we get there after week 13. But then right after week 13, we also have the team playoffs as well. And so take a look at this list right now. Tank Racing leading the way. Stryker Motorsports not too far behind. It's a close race right now. It may spread out a little bit along the way, but we're going to take the top 8 teams and put them into a bracket after week 13, and then it's going all crazy after that.
Yeah, it's going to be like the NBA playoffs, NHL, NFL, so to speak, that kind of bracket. It's going to be an entertaining team championship playoff run, so to speak. It's going to be a great excitement added to each and every week within the race itself.
Yeah, and we got a ton of teams on this list and a ton of teams to go through. So let's jump into those team introductions, and we are going to start off with our leaders right now, Tank Racing. And Tank has brought back most of their team from last season, but I think they've gotten even better because they added Vincent Cortez to this list.
Yeah, you got the 3 that have been here for a long, long time. You got Derek De Silva, Devin, Mike Lepicki. Those guys have been on the Xfinity Series team for Tank for a while. Vincent Cortez jumps up from trucks. He won the last race at Texas, and then he got a new guy into the series, Adrian Schumacher. He's got to live up to that last name. So Tank Racing, starting it off up front for the team championship.
Definitely the sentimental pick for us, Stryker Motorsports. That is how this entire thing started, was with you on Stryker Motorsports, me as the owner of Stryker Motorsports. But Travis Trevelyan has put together a nice team here in the Xfinity Series, including Brandon Domain and Jose Castellanos, who moved up into this series. So you got a little bit of experience there.
Yeah, near and dear to our hearts, like you said. Then you got Josh Goen, Tyler Markle, and Jack Hedgecock, 3 new guys to Speed Racing Network. So obviously not a lot of info on them, but they clearly are good enough to be in the Xfinity Series. So I expect really good things out of this team this season.
Oh, definitely. Now, another team that's a little bit new this season, it's kind of Rev Racing, but they've changed it to Rev Reloaded because this is kind of Rev's, I'm going to call it the second team, even though they're ahead of Rev Racing in the point standings. But nothing's new about these drivers. Danny Dowd, Marshall Stanley, Adam Pettit, Joshua Siegfried, Nathan Nixon, all part of Rev last season. And so really this team is kind of molding together really well, and it's led by Adam Pettit, who is just fantastic out there on the track.
Yeah, I mean, for being, quote unquote, the 2.0 team for Rev, I mean, this lineup is just as deadly as, the original Rev, which, we'll get to next. So, with Danny Dow, Adam Pettit, those are very strong, very clean drivers. And you got Marshall Stanley, who's absolutely on another level on road courses. You got to watch out for this team.
Yes, you do. Now, another team that is coming on really, really strong, and you can actually see the winner sticker right there in the center, which is absolutely what I didn't mean to do, but it happened. So there you go, R&D Motorsports, and they do have last week's winner, Ryan Phillips, out there, but they also have a playoff driver in Dylan Patterson, Bo Tiffany, a playoff driver, Corey Saucier, one of the playoff finalists last season in the Truck Series, Stan Hausman, a great driver, also great team foreman here.
Yeah, Corey Saucier, he finished second in the trucks. Very well could have won the truck championship, and that 39 car, man, that thing looks awesome.
Beautiful car. So be on the lookout for R&D Motorsports. But here's your team, Jake, and you know what? I'm going to let you handle this one because, I mean, they're your babies.
Yeah, obviously, see here, it's going to be Roell Smith Racing, RSR. A little bit lower down in the standings, but hey, that's all right. It's a 20-week season. You got the number 3 of Jovi Ray. He was in the Final 5 for the playoffs. Daniel Ballard in that 6 car, another Final 5 playoff driver. Ryan Ducombe in the 7. Could have potentially been. Had a little personal things going on, so he couldn't make it. The 9 car, Logan Joyner, our champion last season in the Xfinity Series for SRN. And you got Zach Taylor, another playoff driver in that 14 car. I might be biased, but I personally think we're pretty loaded, so I expect throughout the year to, one step at a time, RSR is going to move their way up through the standings.
Yes, they are. Really, I don't know how you got that many superstars on the same team and still had room on your other 2 teams as well, but great job putting that team together. Another team that's kind of formed this season is Highline Racing. So brand new team to the series. Their motto is go high, pass fast, and that is the great place to do that here at Kansas. Again, not new drivers to the league, but just a new team forming with Wayne Rayburn, Daniel Keith Jr., and Seth Reed.
Yeah, a new team to the block, but a couple guys, that have run with us with Wayne and Daniel, and then the new guy in the 22, Seth Reed. So, this is a 3-car team. Going to need a little bit of help, obviously, with us taking 3 of the best 5. So I'd assume them to add a couple drivers, but, they're still in the hunt. You just never know with these things.
Yeah, now Rev Racing, this is the original Rev Racing team. And so, again, just so many great drivers from that entire stable. But Aaron Gerwitz kind of leading the way there along with Ted Rekich. So Ted, one of our playoff drivers last season. Aaron Gerwitz, one of the playoff finalists last season in the Xfinity Series. Landon Lacey, incredible driver. Greg Olenek has a huge following online. Jordan Bain came on strong at the end of last season. So Rev is throwing one together as well.
Yeah, and you really can't take this team's spot right now in the team standings too serious. I mean, it's Daytona. Anything can happen. We saw it, a ton of last lap wrecks. So, I expect this team, obviously, there's a lot of talent here as well. So, the longer we get into this, season, they're going to be, making their way up to the top 2.
Yeah, now Jonathan Byer Racing is known for their consistency, but they're also known for their speed, and that's their MO out there. So Jonathan Byer has been racing down the Truck Series there for a while, but had so many people that wanted to race with him that he put this team together here in the Xfinity Series. So got a couple guys on there that we know, Josh Marcy, Josh Witt. We know them from last season, but Brian Huntley Jr., Nathan De La Rosa, and Zach Deuscher all had great runs last week.
Yeah, they definitely did. And, Jonathan Byer is a class act, so these guys are going to live up to, his MO as a person. So, JBR, got to look out for them, as always, with, the kind of guys that Jonathan likes to put on his team. So, I expect to see these guys running up front.
Well, I know that Brian Smith is out there watching us right now, so I'm going to get their name correct this time. Smith Road Racing, and here we go. I mean, what a great team that's been put together from the RSR stable. And so they are greatness redefined, and they've only got 3 drivers out here, but I've heard good things about all 3 of them. So we'll see how they do. I know Christopher Darling did great last week at Daytona.
Yeah, and Dustin Scruggs was on RSR's Xfinity team last year, so brought him over to Smith Road Racing, an RSR company. So it's kind of Rev Reloaded. It's kind of our version to just bring on other guys, and this is headed by Jacob and Brian Smith. So that they're kind of taking the reins on this one, and this I know they're going to be adding some other drivers, so you expect to see that lineup to fill up.
Yeah, and finally, we do have some independent drivers out there tonight. We've got 3 drivers moving up from the Truck Series to race here tonight. Kyle Wimble, Lucas Lyons, who had a great run yesterday in the Truck Series, and then Travis Trevelyan. And then over on the Cup side, moving down this week, just to kind of visit and get some practice on here, Jordan Sailors and Brian O'Shell.
Yeah, there's some talent here as well. Jordan Sailors in the Cup Series dropping down. Brian O'Shell's always kind of popping in and out. And Lucas Lyons ran really, really well last night in the Truck Series. So I believe he got a top 5. I think Madden was 4th and he was 5th. So if that translates over to the Xfinity car, you got to watch out for some of these independent drivers.
Definitely. Now, we've got our qualifying done already. So looking at the standings there, Roell Smith Racing, Logan Joyner, last season's champion, making Roell Smith Racing proud. And then Devin Zimmerman from Tank Racing, always up towards the front. He is going to be starting in second.
Yeah, rolling off in the second row, you got Jovi Ray from RSR, and then his teammate, Zachary Taylor, rolling off 4. So that's 3 of the top 4 right there. Stan Hausman going to be rolling off 5th out of R&D Motorsports, and Vincent Cortez, Devin's teammate on Tank Racing. So they got 2 in the top 6 as well.
Yep, Christopher Darling for Smith Road Racing, his first official race under that logo. Dylan Patterson there in 8th, Joshua Marcy 9th, Greg Olenek in 10th. Daniel Bowdler is the 4th Roell Smith Racing driver in the top 12. And then Nathan Nixon, one of the best drivers that we had in the Truck Series last season, coming in 12th for Rev Racing there. So, man, look at all the names on this top 12. Just the stature of those names. All of those top 12 could likely be in our top 15 at the end of the season.
And that's the scary part too, Sean. Obviously we know a lot of these guys really well, and there's some names on this list that we haven't even named, that started further down in the field. So I got to say, I really think the Xfinity Series this season is loaded from top to bottom. I think there's going to be like 20 to 30 guys that honestly truly could make a push for that, playoff spot. So this series is loaded from top to bottom. It's going to be very competitive, and I think tonight it's going to really be able to showcase what you can do, in front of the whole league here tonight, for Kansas here tonight.
Definitely, and we really do appreciate Healthcare Billing Incorporated for sponsoring the pre-show on all of our series and all of our broadcasts. So we sincerely appreciate their sponsorship and their friendship as well. So, man, here we are at Kansas. Lots of room out there. Who you picking tonight?
Yeah, my pick tonight, it's going to be that 3 car. You see him starting off in 3rd. He absolutely dominated this race last year in the playoffs. Excuse me, sorry. He absolutely dominated it in the playoffs last season. Led almost, I think, 60 to 70 of the entire race. Ended up losing it on a late yellow with some pit strategy. It's going to be that 3 car Jovi Ray.
Well, let's get out there right now because the green flag is out. Logan Joyner taking us to the green.
Yeah, that 9 car got a heck of a start there. Kind of had to cut it short with those intros there, but Logan Joyner for RSR, it's going to be about 5-6 car lengths in front, and he's got his 2 teammates that are going to get cleared, try to get cleared. Devin Zimmerman, Jovi's clear, and Zach Taylor's going to try to follow him behind. Those 3 get out front, and you got 2 Tank Racing there in 4th and 5th of Devin Zimmerman and Vincent Cortez, and right now, the top 3 RSR, it's how we saw the Truck Series race end last night, so these guys got to get going here, but Devin Zimmerman and Vincent Cortez are going to be trying to get around these guys. Very clean first lap. Always a little hairy here at Kansas with how loose it gets, Sean.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Vincent Cortez, they're in 4th place now. That was my pick, actually, for tonight. He finished 2nd last season in the trucks. He had a great season last season. Didn't make the playoffs, but he won the season finale. And so I think he did a good job moving up here into the Xfinity Series. I think he might be the winner here tonight.
Yeah, you got to watch out for him. He's from what I've heard, he's put a lot of time and effort into this season, or in between the 2 seasons and the off season. So Vincent Cortez is going to be looking to be very, very strong here tonight. You see Devin Zimmerman kind of running that low line, kind of letting Dylan Patterson go. That 8 car is going to get a heck of a run through the middle of the corner there and try to get up. He's going to clear him down the straightaway, and Devin Zimmerman kind of, this is what he's known to do, is kind of just, let guys go and worry about, reeling them back in on that long run. But you got to be careful here because it does kind of start to get a little hard to pass with it starting to kind of get to a single groove up by the wall later on in the run.
Yeah, this could already be Devin Zimmerman playing pit strategy. I mean, it's only lap 4 out of 100 right now, but he's one of those guys that he looks to the future. He plans it out the entire way. You can see Jovi Ray right now trying to hold off his own teammate, Zachary Taylor, but we are still 1-2-3 for Roell Smith Racing.
Yeah, they definitely are, and I think on that second lap, Jovi actually got into the outside wall a little bit. I think he's got a little bit out right front damage, just a tad bit. Obviously, it doesn't seem to be hurting him too bad because he's still running second place, but I commend these guys here in the Xfinity Series. They've got this thing green. We're on lap 5 right now. Knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't get a jinx by the broadcast and see a yellow flag. But these guys understand with no fast repairs, they can't be fooling around. Going 2-3 wide here early on these restarts.
Yeah, trying to think about how much that's going to hurt Jovi by scraping that outside wall. I want to say that Devin Zimmerman also scraped the outside wall a little bit earlier. In fact, let's zoom in right now and see. No, it doesn't. No, he looks clean. So I could be completely off base there. I think I saw someone scrape the wall. I thought it was him, but I am obviously wrong.
Yeah, that Lift Works 33 Ford Mustang looks pretty clean right now. Still just buying his time right now. Devin's a very methodical guy. He's very into Formula One, so that the strategy aspect of it, he totally understands the concept of not, charging hard, using your stuff up, letting the race come to you. So this 33 might be falling back a few spots early on, but he'll get it going here soon. And he's got the 38 car, Christopher Darling, all over his rear end right now, trying to get around him for 7th spot right there.
Yeah, the guy Dylan Patterson on the low side trying to take a spot away from Vincent Cortez here for 4th position.
Yeah, Dylan Patterson, he kind of started a little bit further back than Vincent, started 8th, and he's already up to 5th. He was really, really fast here, if I remember correctly, last season. So Dylan Patterson knows his way around this track, and, not surprised to see him in the, footsteps of Vincent Cortez trying to get down, run these top 3 down up here of Logan Joyner, Zachary Taylor, and Jovi Ray.
Yeah, we're going to jump back just a little ways. We're going to go back here to 19th position in this number 89 car. That is Sean Hamilton. This is his first race in Speed Racing Network. And he clips the wall, and there's the broadcaster's curse killing somebody.
Yeah, the 89 car there. Able to collect it, no yellow flag. Great job not letting that thing come all the way down the track in front of traffic there. But the 89 is going to get going here. He's got a car all over his rear end as they come out of turn 4. So he's just got to get this thing kind of settle in here, be patient, and just kind of buy for a yellow flag, things like that. But Zimmerman, man, he's getting himself in these kind of nervous situations. He was almost 3 wide right there. Daniel Ballard running him really tight on the inside here. But these two guys have raced together quite a bit, so I think they're going to give each other enough room. And Daniel Ballard is going to try to make the inside work. But Zimmerman, you'll see here, he's just going to get a big run off the top down this front stretch, and should have the position as they head into 3 or into turn 1.
Yeah, Daniel Bowdler last season ran the Sparkle and Shine Red all season long. This season, right back to his traditional blue for next diag there. So beautiful looking car there for Daniel Bowdler. But you can see right behind them another beautiful car, Greg Olenek, usually in that Moo and Brew cow design. This week in a shipwreck design, and really, really gorgeous car there. He did a great job on it.
Yeah, that car looks really good. So Moo and Brew's a restaurant and brewery that's in Charlotte, North Carolina, close to where Greg and I live. And he was talking to me about this, the beer that this car is based off. And, I mean, this thing looks, fabulous. It looks really, really great. So Greg did a great job, as he always does, on all the paints he makes for Rev Racing and other guys in the league. So it's a good-looking car there. That 31 machine.
Up a little further, our 2 picks are going at it right now. Jovi Ray back there in 5th. You got Vincent Cortez up in 3rd. Dylan Patterson right between. So great racing back here for just a top 5 position.
Yeah, they're going at it right now. They're throwing haymakers at one another for 3rd place. Cortez and Patterson kind of been working together, so to speak, to get through these guys. And, they got around Jovi Ray, and now they set their sights on Zachary Taylor for 2nd place. And I tell you what, these two are running a lot faster than these other guys in front of them. So I just kind of wonder if it's only a little bit of time before we see the 8 and the 69 car up front leading this thing.
Up there in 2nd, Zachary Taylor, not known for holding back at all. So he is typically the guy that dives in deep and hard every single race. And
we got a yellow flag.
Oh, and I believe that's Ryan Ducombe. Ryan Ducombe going through
the 7 car, yep.
Yeah, he was going through pit road there. Not sure who else was involved, but we will have our very first Rec Replay brought to you by Beer Street Journal.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. We get it pulled up, Sean. It's got to be a big wreck with him going through the grass like he was. So Ryan DeCom through the middle of 3 and 4. Going to come off the exit here. Sean, a big accident down here.
That's the
start-finish line.
I believe that's Jose Castellanos.
Wow.
Yeah, Jose
One of those cars just came down the track, and unfortunately for Ryan, just absolutely nowhere to go. Not too sure who this was.
Oh,
the 21
on the outside,
that's Danny Dow.
And the 18, that's Josh Gowen.
Wow. And then you see Ryan Ducombe and Danny Dow make contact there, and the rest is history. I got to imagine the 21 and the 7 going to have a ton of damage here. And they got to be out of this race early on.
Yeah, now, even if they're not out of the race, whoever was at fault for that incident, based on the admin's findings, will get an end-of-line penalty for causing that caution. So we will figure out who that is, but Ryan DeCom in pits right now trying to get some repairs taken care of as the leaders all come down pit road to get new tires and fuel.
Yeah, leaders are going to be on pit lane, and you see those 3 cars there, so that means they're getting lapped. Those guys are going to have a tough sled in here, but we'll see. This race off pit road, it is all about track position here at Kansas. So you got to make sure you get in and out of your box perfect. That way you don't lose positions and potentially have the chance to gain positions on pit lane, which can be so crucial here.
Yeah, nobody stayed out this time around, so nobody taking that risk, and that's a smart move, I think, 14 laps into the race. And we will have Logan Joyner coming off pit road first, Zachary Taylor right behind, and then Dylan Patterson comes out in third, Vincent Cortez in fourth, and then Joshua Marcy moving up into the top 5.
Yeah, so we got some guys that kind of made their way, into the top 5 this time with pit strategy, or not pit strategy, but just kind of better pit stop, getting in and out of your box. So the 2 guys that were up front, of Logan Joyner and Zachary Taylor, are going to have some new faces behind them on this restart.
Yeah, just kind of going down the list right now. I know we got Lucas Lyons that moved up for this race, so he's in the 07. He is up in 14th position. Started off in 29th, moved all the way up to 14th already. Another big mover is Brian O'Shell, one of our Cup Series drivers, dropping down here for this week. He started off in 35th, and he is already up in 20th. So big movers going on.
Yeah, definitely, and they were able to do that with avoiding the kind of, obviously the accident that brought out the yellow flag, but then also, we saw that the 89 car of Sean Hamilton get into the outside fence. So these guys were able to keep, their momentum up and be able to avoid, the little interaction on the back stretch between the 89 and another car, and then obviously getting around that huge wreck we saw down the front stretch.
One person going backwards right now, Devin Zimmerman, so he had to come in and get some repairs done. So he may have scraped that right side, just like we were talking about earlier. So he has dropped all the way back to 23rd place. He was in the pits for about 11 seconds longer than anyone else.
Yeah, and Jovi Ray, too, I got to mention, he was taking damage because he was about 5th place, behind the top 4, and now he's in 12th place. So those are the 2 guys you and I were pointing out that we had seen hit the wall early on up front, and they're going to be paying for it now. Having to fix that damage and being restarting back in the pack. That's just kind of the danger zone, in these races. So these guys got to be very careful. They know they have the fast car, but they got to make their way up and be smart about it. Be very, very patient and cautious, especially on these first few laps of these restarts.
Yep, last week's winner, Ryan Phillips, he had to come in and get some damage repaired as well. So you can see here that he is all the way back in 31st position. So hopefully he got that damage repaired, and we can see if he can make a run like he did last week, where I believe he came into the last lap in 8th place and ended up taking the victory when everyone else wrecked out around him.
Yeah, and that that's the beauty of Talladega. Getting ahead of myself, John. Daytona. You just never ever know, and you can't say you're out of it until that checkered flag is waving. Because Ryan Phillips went into the last lap, kind of behind the pack. He saw him out his windshield. Obviously, mayhem hit. Everyone was going everywhere. Cars were wrecking, flipping, all this stuff. He comes out of turn 4. All he sees in front of him is that flagman waving that checkered flag, and he was the winner of last week's race at Daytona. So, these things aren't over till they're over.
Oh no, they're not, definitely. And another big mover out there, Dylan Patterson, up 5 positions, started off in 8th, up to 3rd, so he is up on the podium now. And so great movement up here with the leaders. So we'll see if he can continue that move and see what he can do about these top 2 from Roell Smith Racing.
Yeah, it's obviously, we saw Dylan Patterson, Vincent Cortez. That second row had, great speed. They were kind of running these guys down. So we'll see. They'll be right behind them now. So this 8 and 69 car, they want to be 1 row ahead if we have another yellow flag. But it's going to be in Logan Joyner's hands, and he takes off early, Sean, and gets going. And he's going to leave his teammate out behind, and he's going to have Dylan Patterson to his inside using that apron, trying to get inside of Zachary Taylor as they dive down into turn 1. But the 9 car kind of doing what he did on the initial start, going to try to pull away by a few car lengths and work his way around. Oh, Dylan Patterson's around, Sean. Good save.
Still green, but man, he lost that coming out of that corner. It looked like he got up there. Oh, now we're yellow. So let's see. Oh, and Sean Hamilton, he was sideways back there. Looks like Kyle Wimble also had some damage. Jordan Sailors. So looks like a couple of our drivers that dropped in from other leagues involved in this wreck.
Yeah, definitely, 89 car involved into another accident. Looks like the one, Kyle Wimble, might have got some damage there. A little right front. Messed up on that one car there. And but we're going to take another look at it, Sean, with another Beer Street Journal wreck replay.
Yeah, after a great save by Dylan Patterson, we thought that we were all clear. And then that might have made some people check up a little bit. Looks like the 43 came off the wall. So a lot of people lost it there in that corner. That's Jack Hedgecock's in the 43. So we will go back and check that out one more time. But it looked like he was dead sideways.
Yeah, trying to see. A lot of this is just probably trying to check up when he saw the 8 car spinning in front of you, and then guys that are further back just can't see it. Possibly kind of saw him kind of get run over. He's trying to check up, do his thing to avoid what could have been a huge wreck in front of him. But, Dylan saves it, so obviously then he's kind of just spinning out of control. And for Kyle Wimble, Adrian Schumacher, Sean Hamilton, just nowhere to go, Sean. And, it's going to end some of these guys' night. It's the 89 car. Sean Hamilton's already left the race. So, and that's, the struggle of no fast repairs.
Yeah, lots of damage. Brian O'Shell involved. Jordan Sailors, a huge hit to the engine, so that will likely end his night. All sorts of damage going on. This is that was crushing. That was absolutely crushing.
Yeah, I mean, we had gone. We went 13 laps, green flag, and now we've seen 2 yellow flags here back to back. This is where track position is huge, and if you got your job done in qualifying, you didn't mess up in and out of pit lane. You're kind of in front of all of this in the safety zone of not having to worry about 3 while you're going into 1 or coming out of 2 and dive bombs down into 3. And that's just where a lot of these accidents come from. Guys not having the practice maybe of having a guy to their outside 2 wide down into 1, coming out of turn 2. So that's where you see a lot of guys lose control of it. And that's kind of what we're seeing here right now.
Yeah, part of it is also that throttle control that we talked about a little bit earlier, where coming off that corner, you got to know when to get back into the gas. And if you get in just a little bit early, that backside is going to come around, and then that's going to ruin a lot of people's races. And I think that might have been what happened there.
Yeah, it's a lot of patience and just understanding the fact that, the best way to put it, it's like driving like you have an egg underneath the gas pedal when you're on these restarts in these Xfinity cars. Yeah, you want to gas it up and gouge that gas pedal down into your floor, but man, you got to be so cautious with it, or else that back end just starts swinging around. And unfortunately for these cars with no downforce, it just makes it that much harder to save. So that's kind of what we've seen. These last, or at least this yellow flag, we saw 2 cars start losing it. Patterson was able to save it, and Jack Hedgecock unfortunately kind of lost it a little bit further than Patterson, and that's why we're under our second yellow flag of the night.
I really feel like we do have the broadcaster's curse. We were just talking about Dylan Patterson breaking into the top 5, and then he turned sideways a little bit earlier. We were talking about Sean Hamilton, first race in SRN, then he hits the wall. So maybe I should just stop calling races.
Honestly, we've talked about Brian O'Shell. He just left the race.
Yep, he's
out. Maybe we should just put closed captions on and call it a night up here in the booth. But all jokes aside, it's just we don't try to do it. It's not a thing. It's just it's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say.
Well, nobody pitted that time around except for people that had. We had a couple people pit, actually. So Josh Gowen, Seth Reed, Derek Da Silva, and Josh Witt, Jack Hedgecox had some damage there. So we had some people pitting that time around, but basically the top 25, nobody pitted there. And so we are on about 7-lap old tires.
Yeah, and so the top 25 stay out, and so you got 5 guys on newer tires that, as long as they don't have too much damage, they should actually be able to pick up quite a few positions. So, if you're kind of in the back of the pack already, why not come down and throw a set of tires on it? I know we have, a fixed amount, but if this thing starts going green here, that could pay dividends for you and gain you a ton of spots. So we'll see, though. But another restart coming up. We got a new player up in the second row, that 38 car, Christopher Darling from Smith Road Racing. So we'll see what he's going to have here, the 38 car. As you see, Vincent Cortez now up to P3. So these guys, again, all still chasing that 9 and 14 car of Logan Joyner and Zachary Taylor.
Yep, 4 of the top 10 are Roell Smith Racing. The 5th driver for Roell Smith Racing, Ryan Ducombe, he was damaged earlier, but is back on the track now, back in 36th.
Yeah, and Logan Joyner, again, another exceptional restart. Going to get through these gears really clean and try to pull away. Zachary Taylor going to have the 69 of Vincent Cortez, who was inside again. Last time we went through this, that 8 car, Dylan Patterson, got loose, so Vincent's got to be very careful. You kind of see him check up a little bit through the middle of the corner, so Zachary Taylor able to clear off the exit of the corner, and the 9 and 14 going to go here up front, and we got a new guy trying to dive to the bottom here into 3. That's going to be Greg Olenek in that 31 car, trying to get up front and start battling with these guys. That good-looking 31 car Greg, and he's side by side down here at the start finish line.
Yeah, like we said earlier, he has been working with Kane Cook, one of the best sim coaches out there. So he has been working really, really hard on this track because he figured that it would go green. If this thing goes green for a long stretch, I really see Greg getting a podium, if not the win.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Texas Motor Speedway race for the championship, the last race of the year. Greg was really, really strong on the long run, and I know he had been putting in that kind of same effort and time with Kane Cook, and it obviously paid off well for him there. So, like you said, if this thing goes green, these guys got to be aware of the 31 car, and he's going to be fast. He's going to be charging through the field trying to get up front.
Going back a little ways, back here in 16th, Ted Rekich up 12 positions from where he started. Had a really great run last week, got into some unfortunate damage at the end, so didn't have a great finish, but you can see that he's got the talent to be up here as he's moving forward.
Yeah, kind of surprised. Ted's obviously very, very fast. Don't know, maybe he just, had a little hiccup on his qualifying. That's kind of what caused him to start in the back of the pack, but Ted definitely going to be, as this thing goes green, he's an experienced driver. He's fast. He knows what he's doing. So, Ted is going to be making his way through it. He's side by side right in front of him, but that's going to be the 66 and the 98 of Nathan Nixon and Nathan De La Rosa battle in front of him. So he's just got to buy his time right now, pick these guys off one by one, and, Ted will get up there.
Big battle for the lead up here between a couple teammates. Zachary Taylor going down to the bottom side, as we've seen him do so many times in previous races. So he will get the slide job, and he will take the lead away from Logan Joyner.
Yeah, as the owner of that team, I kind of had to catch my breath. It looked like Zach was going to really cut off Logan. I think the 9 had to check up a little bit. Those 2 cars would have been in the outside fence together, but they get it together. They start mowing along here, and Zachary Taylor going to take over the lead here. He was very, very strong to start off the season last year for the SRN Xfinity Series. And, we're at another mile and a half. Same type of thing that happened last year. He kind of just got out front and was running at a pace that, no one was able to catch him. So, but, there's a lot more new players up front and in this series. So, Zach might have the lead now, Sean, but, this thing is far from over coming to lap 29 of 100.
I have been texted by the league owner, Jason Tripp, and he has told me that Greg Olenek, because I mentioned his name, if he wrecks or anything happens to him, that I will be hunted down. And so I apologize to Greg. I should not have even said your name, buddy.
Hey, that's all right. It's no different if if you're racing a race and Greg says your name, I guess, Sean, you just kind of have to look at it that way. Some people believe in all that stuff and some don't, so we'll see, though. But, Greg's a good driver. He's not going to put himself in a bad spot. So 31, man, if you're listening somehow and racing, don't worry about it and go do your thing behind the wheel.
Definitely not. I mean, nobody would ever call my name in a race unless it was me wrecking, to be completely honest with you. But I appreciate the sentiment, Jake.
Hey, I saw you turning laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's a lot of potential out there. You just got to put in the time and effort, Sean, and, who's to say you couldn't come out here and win one of these things?
One day, maybe. But we got Brandon Domain here on the bottom side, and he is making the pass, or trying to, at least, on Nathan De La Rosa.
Yeah, Brandon Domain, one of our fellow broadcasters, trying to work his way up front. Brandon jumping up from the Truck Series into the Xfinity Series this year. A little bit of a learning curve, obviously. Those trucks are just so different than the Xfinity Series cars. And Brandon, right off the gate, he was really running well at Daytona, and obviously here running, pretty strong so far early on in this thing. So this 20 car is going to be making his way up front as well. Right
behind him, you can see Devin Zimmerman trying to get some of those spots back that he lost in the pits, and so started off in second position, trying to work his way back forward once again. All sorts of a cluster up here in this group. So this is the kind of racing we saw last night too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last night's race was obviously, action-packed everywhere you looked. And I'm very shocked, Sean, to see guys still running that inside line. They're kind of on, I believe it's like lap 8 or 9 of this run, and guys are still wanting to use that bottom line. You got to be really aware of that, as you can really burn through your right front tire doing that, especially in this Xfinity Series car. So these guys got to be getting up front. You can see the top 6 or 7 guys in front of these guys are all running the top line, and these guys, they're trying to get these positions, which obviously it's what you want to do. So they very well could be paying for it the longer this thing goes.
Yeah, that front pack is starting to kind of get spaced out a little bit. You can see they are more single file. There's just more room between them. That is going to allow them actually to save a little bit in some instances, unless you're just trying to catch the guy in front of you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's a balancing act. You want to push to not get passed by the guy behind you, obviously, but at the same time, if this thing's going to go a long run, you got to save your tires, not use yourself up early on. So it's very difficult to manage, and a lot of guys, they have their way of going about it, and it's just the beauty of racing. There's different ways to attack this, and that's what we saw from Zachary Taylor. His teammate was leading it, but he wanted to be up front and control the pace and, kind of set the tone. So that's what we see out of the 14 car. And you got a guy like Vincent Cortez or Greg Olenek behind him. They're very strong in their own right, and they're trying to, just keep themselves in striking distance of these guys in front of them.
Definitely out there in the chat right now, Sean Hamilton, who was one of the drivers out there, said, I had nowhere to go when the car got loose in front of me. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, and that's, obviously Sean was trying to have a great run here. The first race he's had in the Speed Racing Network Xfinity Series, and collected in a wreck, and with no fast repairs, you know what that means. If it's killed to the point you've got required repairs, and unfortunately for Sean, going to have to end the night, load the car up on the hauler, and just kind of get ready and get the mind cleared for next week where we head to Dover. So these guys back here, though, having a great battle. It's going to be Ted Reckage, Adam Pettit, and the 38 of Christopher Darling.
Yeah, we were 3 wide there for just a little bit. Christopher Darling with a great run last week at Daytona, and now he is up in the top 10 here at Kansas. He might be one of those drivers to actually watch this season.
Yeah, Christopher Darling, he had a great run last week at Daytona International Speedway. I believe caught up in those accidents, which kind of washes away running up front, leading a lot of laps, and it kind of gets a little sour taste in the mouth for him. But we got a battle for the lead, though, Sean. These guys have caught Zachary Taylor quite a bit here, and Logan Joyner going to try to use that low line, which is going to be really, really tough this late into a run. You see Vincent Cortez kind of cut down the track. They're going to be going 3 wide now. Oh, no, they're not. Zachary Taylor got a heck of a run off the top.
Yeah, but that is going to kind of leave Logan Joyner up there all by himself, as Vincent Cortez still uses that bottom side, is able to float up the track, take that second position.
Yeah, these two are going to go at it right here. The 9 and 69 kind of switching, who's on the high side, who's on the low side, clearing one another. And Zachary Taylor going to be able to start driving away a little bit if these guys keep battling that much. And that's only going to bring that 31 car, Greg Olenek, into the picture, and then Daniel Ballard into the picture. I think the 9 car just got into the wall a bit there off of turn 2.
He did. Hard into the wall. Greg Olenek is going to pass him, take that third position away, and he's going to start to hunt down Vincent Cortez. But everybody chasing Zachary Taylor as Zachary is starting to get into lap traffic. That's Ryan Ducombe that he's passing right now.
Yeah, Ryan Ducombe, who we saw earlier involved in that accident where he went for a ride through the infield grass. I just got to imagine that car is so down on power and not a lot of aero left on that 7 car. And he's just kind of turning laps right now, just kind of, doing his thing. And that's why he's going here and he's getting past at such a rate here. And I tell you what, it looks like Daniel Ballard is, kind of right on the rear end of that 31 car, Greg Olenek. So, Daniel Ballard, kind of been quiet, laying back in the weeds, but the 6 car is kind of coming to life the longer this thing goes as well.
Yep, 4 of the top 6 are Roell Smith Racing drivers, and so they have obviously learned how to save those tires and get up to that top line to get the momentum as Ballard moves into the top 5. And so Joby Ray back there in 6th right now. So really, really great top 6 that we've got. And then we've got Adam Pettit, who we talked about earlier, who is just kind of a mainstay here in Speed Racing Network. And he has moved up 12 positions as well.
Yeah, Adam Pettit, very, very strong in this Xfinity car. Obviously had the pleasure of racing against him in it back when the league was Mid-South Madness in its first season. And Adam was very, very strong at the 1.5 miles. So, he very well could have won this race that year, and, unfortunately he didn't. But again, just another strong run, going to creep into the picture here. The longer this thing goes, that 58 car is going to just continue to get strong. So Adam Pettit, a name we need to keep our eye on, as I'm sure he's going to be moving his way up the scoring pylon.
Yeah, he's one of those that he has always been the long-run driver, so he is just waiting for a run exactly like this. This is his type of track. This is his type of race, and so I fully expect to see him moving up even further as some of these guys that are still, they're good at driving on these long runs and stuff like that, but Adam Pettit is just in a league of his own when it comes to that. And we've got a yellow flag.
And the yellow flag is out right as these guys were going to be going 3 wide.
Jordan Sailors immediately into the pits. So something happened there, and we will go to our next rec replay under our 3rd caution.
Another Beer Street Journal rec replay. No, as always, Sean, we always ask that you please drink responsibly. But we're going to see here what happened again here at the Jayhawk 150. The 55, Jordan Sailors.
Looks like he just pulls off the track. And I'm not sure why that is going to bring out the caution.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he was just kind of, done with it. Thought he wouldn't be bringing out a yellow that low. Kind of shocked it really did bring out the yellow flag. I mean, he is all the way at the inside wall.
Yeah, that's what brought it out right there, was just stopping and then that. So really kind of strange yellow flag there, but that is going to bring our entire group under yellow, which is going to upset some people, but other people needed that pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, that, it was getting really racy up front. Going to be looking forward to that, but here we go. Leaders back down pit lane, going to, see who gains and who loses time and spots here. So these guys are going to definitely be wanting those 4 tires and fuel. Some of these guys who we've seen kind of hit the wall going to be using some time to fix damage, and we're going to see this race off pit road.
Yeah, once again,
their service.
Everyone pitting. Everyone needs that service right now. Logan Joyner has that front pit box, but he has been kind of falling back a little bit throughout this run. We're going to see who gets out there first, and it looks like it's going to be Ryan Phillips. Ryan, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he stopped. I'm not sure he stopped in his pit box.
Yeah, I got to imagine he probably missed his box, and I would imagine he's going to be coming back down because if he took 2 tires, they just ran 21 laps on that set. That is going to be.
I'm not registering that he did anything. You know what? We're going to go back and we're going to try to find his run down pit road and see what happened here because. I'm showing that he did not stop in his pit box. We will find out.
Yeah, he must not have. It's a bold strategy move. So we'll see here, though, Sean. Rolling down pit lane. Trying to find the box.
Yeah, he missed it. Yep, he missed it. He never stopped. And so he will come out in first, but he'll have to pit again. Zachary Taylor is going to resume having that lead. Greg Olenek, though, now up in second. Vincent Cortez in third. Yeah,
so a little jockeying of positions there for second and third. Olenek going to move up to second. He's going to give him the outside lane here on this restart. And Vincent Cortez going to be third again. It seems to be about the second or third restart. We've seen him in that third spot. So Vincent's going to just try. I got to imagine to try to get away around, the 14 and the 31 here on this restart. And we'll see what Greg Olenek has. Obviously, we know he's got the long run pace, but does he kind of, battle Zach to try to get the lead and then have that clean air and then, be able to use his long run speed and be up front and see if Greg can't, start pulling away from these guys.
And just got another message from another tank driver. So Mike Lepicki, not in this race, but he just wanted to say hello to everybody, be sure that he was not forgotten by our group. And, of course, Mike Lepicki, one of the mainstays here in Speed Racing Network. We can never forget about you, Mike, and hope you're doing well out of town. Hope you get back safely, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, it's a shame he wasn't able to make it. Mike's pretty strong here at Kansas. He's run really well here. Both times I've, seen him race or race against him in the first season. So, Mike, I wish you were here. You'd be up here battling with these guys. Vincent Cortez, leaving him on an island up here in third place. But I'm sure he'll be back ready to go for Dover next week. So, enjoy the vacation if that's where you're out of town. Enjoy it, and we'll see you next week.
And I'm looking out there in the chat. Someone said I blew up. It's MDR Series. I'm thinking that's Jordan Sailors. I think that his was the car that blew up, and he couldn't make it back to the pits, which is why the caution came out that last time. So in any event, we're about to get restarted again, and Zachary Taylor, like we said earlier, he is one of those that throws it into the corners with reckless abandon, which is great on these on the short run. So I don't anticipate seeing anybody pass him too quickly here, but Greg Olenek has been working on that long-term speed, so you might see him fall back at the start.
Yeah, and it's going to be in Zach's hand, and he was not the leader yet. But here we go. Zachary Taylor going to have a restart here, and Daniel Ballard going to get a good run on the outside. Vincent Cortez kind of a little asleep there, lost a little space here. But here we go. Zachary Taylor going to try to clear up in front of that 31 car. And up front, Zachary Taylor going to lead him down the back stretch, and Greg Olenek going to try to go. But Zachary Taylor doesn't go down here in 3 and 4. He's going to shoot to the bottom. Surprised to see Zach not take that bottom side, but he's going to rip the wall. But Zachary Taylor gets a good run through the middle of the corner, and then he's going to take that momentum and clear Greg down at the line.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Greg went to the low side there, but man, all sorts of surprises here tonight as Greg Olenek stays there in the second place, but Daniel Ballard up in third now. Oh, Greg got a little sideways there.
Yeah, back end came out from underneath him. That's going to allow Daniel Ballard to get to his inside. Going to use that inside line, try to clear Greg as they come out of turn 4. Daniel Ballard clips the apron, though. It's going to wash him up. It's going to make this exit at turn 4 really tight between these two.
Yeah, it looks like Greg is going to get to the line first on that one, but we'll see what comes out of it here coming into this next corner. Greg loving that outside line. That's where he's been training all week.
Yeah, definitely. Daniel Ballard using that inside again, so he's going to clear Greg Olenek as they head off at turn 2. It's going to be first, second for RSR, Greg Olenek for Rev Racing in third, and Jovi Ray after getting some damage early on, got it fixed. And now he's running fourth with Adam Pettit in fifth. So you got a couple Rev Racing cars, and then obviously you got the 3 Roell Smith Racing cars up front. And then you got a battle back there for sixth place with Vincent Cortez, Christopher Darling, Devin Zimmerman resurging back up front. So a lot of guys coming back to the front that kind of got into the outside wall and lost positions early on in this thing.
Yeah, 29 drivers on the lead lap right now. And of those 29, everybody's still got a shot at it realistically. And you're looking at Christopher Darling here making the move on Vincent Cortez to take that 6th position.
And this is where it gets really, really dicey when you start going down to the inside, trying to clear guys on the exit of the corners because, you know, the guy on the outside might not lift. And, you know, if you have to check up on the inside and still try to come up and clear them. Well, Zachary Taylor lost the lead, Sean. Don't know if he got into the outside fence or what happened there with the 14 car. This is the battle for the lead right here between the 6 and the 31 car.
Yeah, that was a little quick. Not really sure what happened there as we were kind of pulling away from it. But right now, great side-by-side battle to take that lead spot. Greg Olenek on the inside trying to make it work. But Daniel Bowler has that preferred lineup on the outside.
Yeah, it definitely does. You know, right now, you know, they're a few laps into this run. That top side's going to be clear. Greg's got to get up or he's going to have 2 or 3 guys kind of get by him as you see Jovi Ray now to his outside and then Zachary Taylor right on the rear bumper of the 3 car. So Greg's got to get up if he can, and if not, he's just going to fall back behind these 3. And it's going to be like an outside line at Daytona Talladega right here, just with how this track works, you know, on that high side.
Yeah, that is exactly what's going on right now. He cannot get clear. And so as long as these 2 keep it straight, they are going to take the 2nd and 3rd positions away from Greg Olenek as Jovi Ray finally gets past him there on the outside. Zachary Taylor is going to follow his teammate.
Yeah, they're going to be, you know, trying to still clear him. You know, Greg is hanging tough down there on the inside. Not going to get it this time unless he makes it now, but Zachary Taylor going to be able to get that run off the top and get to his door, and they're going to be side by side as they head down into turn 1.
I don't see any damage on the right side there of Zachary Taylor, so I'm not sure he actually got into the wall. He may have just had a little bit of a scare, got a little bit sideways and let those guys by, but he is definitely making that ground right back up as Greg Olenek finally gets up to the top side. He's got a teammate coming, though, in Adam Pettit here shortly.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, you know, Zachary Taylor, we obviously didn't see it. Just wonder if, you know, if he ran the bottom possibly or if he was on the outside and thought he was going to tear down the wall and just really had to check up and get on the brake, and that's why he lost so much time and obviously lost these spots because he's diving to the inside of Jovi Ray, going to try to take P2 away and try to clear him off of turn 2, and it looks like he's going to get the job done. So, yeah, you know, I don't see too much damage on that 14 car, Sean, right now. So, got to have to imagine, like you said, just kind of had a little bit of a moment, had to get out of that gas, which lost him, you know, obviously a lot of momentum, and that's why he lost the lead there. But he is back up into 2nd, trying to get back up front.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of team orders at all, but I'm not really sure I would want to see my team members going head-to-head like that too often, especially early in the run. I don't want you guys to scrub the tires off, and that might be what happens if Zach keeps on running this race the way that he is. But like we were saying earlier, that is just kind of the way he drives. Reckless abandon, send it into the corners deep, make sure it sticks, and then take that lead.
Yeah, he can do it, you know, just as well as anyone else can, and like you said, 9 times out of 10 he'll make it stick, and that's just kind of his way of doing things. You know, obviously there's different strategies, ways of going about it, but again, he's going to dive to the inside of Daniel Ballard, try to make the bottom work. He's going to get clear of him, and they got to be talking with one another because if they misjudge it, they're both going to be out of this race, and Zachary Taylor clears him off at turn 2. He's going to probably take the high side here into 3, and now he's going to try to set sail and start pulling away again, and again, Zachary Taylor just, you know, able to use that bottom a lot better, it seems, than most guys. I mean, so far that we've seen, Sean.
Man, you got to remember that Zachary Taylor and Daniel Bowler had a couple of run-ins last season, and then for whatever reason, I think Jake Roell is like the driver whisperer or something like that, and now they're teammates out here, both up towards the lead. So whatever you said, it worked because you got a couple good team members there. You got Jovi Ray back there as well in 3rd. So top 3 for RSR once again tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. You know, I guess you could call it the Nick Saban effect maybe or something like that where you're just able to kind of talk them into it. You know, hey, listen, you know, obviously you had your moment in the past, but you got to put that in the rear view like anything else in life. And, you know, you move forward and you learn from it. And you know, it is a way to, you know, grow together and, you know, be able to get better when you've got strong drivers like that working together on a team. So, I mean, that's why you see him running up front here. Jovi Ray going to get into the outside wall. We've got some lap traffic, too, I think this is, trying to get by all these leaders. So this is just a nervous moment when you're one of these guys battling for the lead.
Yeah, all sorts of lap traffic going on. But Greg Olenek takes away that third position as Jovi gets into the wall a little bit. You got Adam Pettit right behind Jovi now, and so a lot of people got Jovi under attack. And then we got a battle for the lead.
Oh, Zachary Taylor in the outside wall.
Greg Olenek! Huge move to the inside, takes the lead away from both Zachary Taylor and Daniel Bowdler. And so Greg Olenek to the lead in that beautiful shipwreck car.
And they had their moment, and all these guys lost momentum, which allowed Jovi Ray and Adam Pettit to really... Oh, we got a yellow flag on the track, though, Sean.
I'm not seeing it. May have been Travis Trevelyan. Yep, he is definitely backwards out there on the track. And we will go to another wreck replay. And this one's going to be an interesting one because we are just barely inside the window, I believe, for pit stops. So we will see. Oh, Travis, and let me back that up because we missed it just a little bit. But Travis Trevelyan just loses it off the corner and ditches it into the outside wall.
Oh my goodness, a hard hit. Thankfully, those guys behind him, too, Sean, weren't involved in that accident, or else that could have taken out 2 or 3 other cars there.
Yeah, and he is likely going to park it for the rest of the night because there's no way an engine can sustain that.
Yeah, I got to imagine he's heavily damaged on the engine right there, and that's why we see him sitting on in the pits in his pit stall. So maybe the 71 can get back out. If not, the night would definitely end earlier than Travis was wanting here at Kansas. So. But again, here we go. Pit stop, Sean. This is where the money's made here. Got to be able to come down here, get in and out of your box smoothly.
Yep, 37 laps to go. I really think that this is going to be the money stop because even though the pit, from my understanding, the pit distance is between 35 and 40 laps, I think we're going to have some people kind of throttle it and hopefully bring it all the way.
Yeah, it's going to be right at that window. So, if these guys get another quick yellow flag, they'll get to their number and be able to make it. But if this thing gets re-racked here and we start, get going here soon, it is going to be ever so close on fuel. It should be about 35, 36 laps to go.
Oh, that was a close race off of pit road, but Greg Olenek will barely clip Jovi Ray coming off the pit road.
Definitely, and so up front, 31 car Greg Olenek, who we saw take the lead right before that yellow flag. Now he's going to be in command of this restart. So this is not over yet, though. These guys were going at it like it was within 10 laps to go. This was really, really good racing up front that we had right before that yellow flag.
You got to remember, Greg Olenek was the fastest in practice as well, and so him being up front right now has to make a lot of people nervous because he does have the speed and the ability to pull away.
Yeah, he definitely does, and that's the thing. He's obviously Greg knows what he's doing, behind the wheel of the car, but he's just got to make sure he's, not overdoing it in the lead because he knows he has that long run speed. So he's just got to be aware of that and conserve his stuff to, be able to make sure, he's not up front leading this thing and burning through his stuff.
Yeah, and I know he's going to get mad at me for continuously saying his name, but dude, you're in the lead now. I have no choice.
Exactly. We kind of have our hands tied, Sean. If we talk about them and something happens, they complain. But then if we don't talk about them, we all know what that results to as well. So we just got to do what we do up here, Sean, and, what happens, happens.
I mean, it's a tough life here in the booth, people.
It really, really is. It's you just never know what could be said to us for saying one thing or another. So it looks like is that the 60 of Joshua Segfried, I think it is. Looks like he'll try to get the wave around to get back on the lead lap here once we get the one to go. So he should be getting one of his laps, although he is 18 laps down. So I got to imagine he was involved in one of those accidents and had a ton of damage that he got fixed, trying to salvage some spots and points and things like that.
Well, yeah, and that's the name of the game, especially early in the season. Everybody worries about those last races before the cut, But nobody really worries about these first races, but this is where you can gain those little bonus points. This is where you can gain a lot of ground on everybody and just try to hold people off. And so Daniel Ballard knows a lot about that. He's the type of driver that he jumps into the lead and he holds people off. And that's kind of what you need to do during this first part of the season. Get those points. There are bonus points out there for being a clean driver. There are bonus points out there for leading a lap. If you can sneak 2 bonus points per race, I mean, going into the playoffs, that's 26 bonus points. That's almost an entire race for some people. And so all you got to do is stay clean, get that lead on the lap, maybe stay out of the pits and clip off that lead so you can get that 1 bonus point. And we've seen in previous seasons, 1 point is all it takes to separate yourself from being in the playoffs and being out.
Oh, it definitely does. The bonus points are huge that first round. You saw a couple guys in each series. I believe it was Michael Madden, Corey Saucier, Cole Martin in the Truck Series had a ton of points. Zachary Taylor, Rhett Tucker, Jovi Sagipad had a ton of bonus points. It just kind of just pushes them almost into that second round as long as they have like a really strong first race in that round. So it adds up and it can be a huge difference. So we'll see though. Greg Olenek going to get onto that gas really early there in that 31 Ford Mustang for Rev Racing. So he's going to try to break away from these two, the 3-car Jovi Ray and Daniel Ballard in that 6-car, and then Adam Pettit, man, just sitting back there in that 58 machine, just trying to get around these guys. And Zachary Taylor all over his rear end, and then they got the guy in the 38 of Christopher Darling from Smith Road Racing, Lucas Lyons in the 07 car, trying to get these spots. So this is going to get very, very interested up front.
Well, another driver that we haven't really mentioned too much.
Oh, Adam Pettit. Sorry, Sean, I didn't mean to cut you off. You had a moment right there in front of the field.
Oh no, I'd rather you cut me off for that. That's not a problem at all. But one guy that we haven't mentioned in a little while because he was involved in an earlier incident is Jack Hedgecox, and he is all the way back up into 13th, actually 12th position now. So he has battled all the way back in that 43 car. Oh, and Devin Zimmerman goes around.
Oh, this is going to be a big accident. He's going to come. Oh, and
huge hit. Oh my goodness, I am not sure who that was that slammed it. That was a massive hit. That might have been Corey Saucier. Yep, it was.
Wow. Hard hits for these guys involved. Goodness. Corey Saucier just nowhere to go. Wow.
All right, well, let's go back to a rec replay. I have no words for that. That was a massive, massive hit, and it all started here with them going 3 wide. Nathan Nixon down on the inside in the 98.
And 3 wide down the back, you're right. I just don't know. It's hard to tell what happened there from that angle. Obviously, they made contact, Sean, but...
Yeah, and just a massive hit there.
Oh, nowhere to go at all for these guys.
Let's go to a different angle here and see if maybe we can see. I'm not really sure which side of the coin that's going to be on.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing right here is you see these seams that obviously don't move down the backstretch, and it's where you can see where, if someone's coming down. I mean, to me, Sean, it just kind of looks like both of them kind of moving, the opposite direction. Nathan's coming up a bit. Devin's trying to go down a little bit for the corner, and obviously, like we know, Sean, there's only so much space out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, let's take a look at this from Corey Saucier's point of view. And here he is, minding his own business. A lot of cars up there blocking what is going on in front of him. He can see the smoke there, and he's just trying to figure out where do I go. He sees Zimmerman, but there is not enough time to move.
And Zimmerman did the right thing holding the brake, and I think Corey just thought he was going to drift down a little bit more just with the baking. Unfortunate for Corey. I mean, he was running up in the top 10, trying to get back up there. Obviously, he was a little further back, but that shot we just had on board of Corey Saucier, Sean, that gives the fans at home, the viewpoint of what these guys, have to deal with in the middle of the race when the wreck is, further in front of you. You might say, well, it should be easy, to avoid the wreck, but you got to worry about the guys behind you as well as kind of missing the other guys checking up. And then lo and behold, there's a car sitting in the middle of the track right where your car is pointed for. And unfortunate for Corey Sauce here, just absolutely nowhere to go.
Well, Greg Olenek still leads this thing. He's got 3 RSR drivers right behind him, and then finally a teammate back there in 5th in Adam Pettit. And so these 5 have really been up front here for the last few laps. And once again, we did pit about lap 63. So I think everybody has enough fuel now with this caution that they can make it the rest of the way. At least that's what it looks like they're going to try to do.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, it sounds like some of them are cutting their stuff off, saving fuel just to be safe. Because, you know, if we get green, white checkers, that can be the name of the game. You know, we saw that at Daytona for the Cup Series. Guys, you know, up front having to come down pit lane, you know, with green, white checkers, losing the track position. So you got to be aware of that. You know, that's where strategy comes into it, Sean, like we've talked about all night long. And, you know, what seems like this race has flown by. You know, we still have 29 laps to go. So we still have quite a bit of ways to go. I mean, this is going to be a good run if it stays green.
We're 3 wide under caution. I don't know what that means, but Greg Olenek is going to continue to lead this race as we're going to come to the 1 to green. This is our 5th caution of the race, which is a little bit surprising, but again, we had a lot of great racing last night. Still some great racing here tonight. Just a little bit more damage than normal.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more carnage here tonight. Which is kind of surprising, I guess, just because the trucks, you know, there's such a big draft and it kind of pulls guys back up to the guy in front of them. Things like that, but it's just kind of, you know, there's kind of these one-off situations that we've seen in the Xfinity car. You know, we saw a few guys get really, really loose on restarts. You know, little, you know, 2 guys going for the same spot into a corner. You know, that's just racing right there at its finest. But you know, we re-rack them. We're gonna have this restart here for the Jayhawk 150. We're gonna have 28 laps to go when they come to get the green flag. So, you know, we're going to re-rack them, rock, chalk, Jayhawk, as they say here in Kansas, Sean. I think this show has only begun here, so this is going to get spicy, as Dean Brummett, one of our other broadcasters, would always say.
Oh, yeah, we're not done yet. Not by a long shot, but some of the guys that have been really impressive. Again, Jack Hedgecock's up into the 11th position, started off in 37th. Lucas Lyons started off in 29th. He is up in 8th now. So a lot of really impressive runs going on. Seth Reed started off in 24th, up in 6th. But Greg Olenek started off in 10th. He is up in 1st right now. He takes that restart, and now the teammates are going to have to battle to figure out who's going to take him on.
Yeah, the 3 RSR cars there, Jovi, Daniel Ballard, Zachary Taylor. They're going to have to try to figure it out. And then you got Seth Reed. You know, he started way back in this pack. He's up front ready to go. So there's a lot of guys here started up in the back of the pack trying to get up front now. And, you know, we're going to see them go at it. And up front, Greg Olenek kind of pulled away a little bit by 0.3 of a second on this first lap. These guys behind him are going to be tracking him down, trying to get the runs to get back up to Greg. And we're going to come across the line, and they're going to be too wide for second place between Jovi and Daniel.
Yeah, Rev Racing, one of the bigger teams out there. Royal Smith Racing, one of the bigger teams out there. But Seth Reed is on a 3-car team, and he is up here in 5th place, making a name for Highline Racing.
And Greg Olenek had a little bit of a moment through 1 and 2. Kind of lost a little momentum. Daniel Ballard right up to his back bumper here in this 6th car. Surprised to see him take that high side, but I think he's just going to try to get the run down the front here on Greg and then really, you know, wrap the white line around turn 1 and 2. Going to get to his inside. They're going to be side by side across the line. Greg Olenek under attack by Daniel Ballard in this 6th car.
They have definitely had some battles in the past season. They were 2 of the better drivers in the Xfinity Series last season around, and so they know each other very well. They know their tendencies, and so Greg Olenek is going to pull that switcheroo, go down to the bottom side, and try to take the lead back from Daniel Ballard.
Daniel Ballard going to try to do the over-under a little bit here, try to get to his inside. Down the front stretch, and they're going to go back at it again, Sean. And there you have Zach Taylor in 3rd, just kind of watching it all happen in front of him, kind of waiting for something to happen just so he can peek his nose and try to make a pass. Greg Olenek going to get a good run, though, on this outside, going to make it hard for Daniel Ballard. He's going to try to get clear up onto the high side. Zachary Taylor lets him in. And then these 3 RSR cars are going to try to regroup here and get around the 31 car.
I got to tell you, the guy that's loving this more than anybody is Adam Pettit. He is down on the bottom side right now trying to make a pass on Seth Reed to get into that 5th position. But again, he is that long-run driver, and as these guys are battling up at the front, they are scrubbing off those tires, and that is going to allow Adam Pettit to have a good run towards the end of this. Yeah,
definitely. Adam Pettit very strong the longer this thing goes. Very much like his teammate, and Seth Reed doing a heck of a job holding him, or keeping him right there at bay. Seth Reed, someone we don't really know too much about, Sean, but he's running in the top 5 this late in a race. It just shows you the experience, the skill this guy has behind the wheel, that 81 for Highline Racing. So, good driver. So, so far here, as we're coming to the end of this race.
1 second is really what's separating everybody in the top 5 right now. 1 second. And that's just not much here at Kansas. I mean, it is one slip of the wheel, one little touch of the wall, one touch of that white line. That's all it takes. And so really great racing going on. This front 3, or actually front 4, all separated by half a second.
Yeah, they're kind of broken away from that battle for 5th place. Adam Pettit and Seth Reed being side by side is, slowing their lap times away, or slowing their lap times down, letting these 4 cars break away here, and these 3 guys behind Greg trying to, get away around him. So, I think these guys got to go here and try to make a move, or else they're going to let Greg kind of walk away a little bit here, and that's not what you want to see if you're one of these guys behind Greg, because, like we said all night long, the longer this thing goes, the better he gets.
I mean, that is what Rev Racing is known for, more than anything else, are the long runs. And that's what he's been training with Kane Cook, is these really, really long runs. So he knows how to work this car at the beginning and in the middle and in the end of a run. So a lot of these guys that maybe haven't had that advantage, yeah, they're great drivers, but when you have one of the best teaching you how it's done, it's tough to beat.
It definitely is. And, these 3 are going to give them their shot at it. It looks like, Seth Reed, Adam Pettit kind of figured it out there. It's going to be interesting to see now that the 5th place, 6th, 7th, they've kind of single filed out. Do they have the pace, to be able to catch these guys and run them down, up front, or is this 4-car, breakaway going to kind of be this way until we see the checkered flag? Unless we have a yellow flag, though, that as always, Sean, can change the outlook of this race.
Oh, definitely. But if last night was any indication, it does not take long for one group to move up into the other group. So I don't think that Seth Reed and Adam Pettit are out of this by any stretch of the imagination. Looks like we've got a little bit of struggle going on back here. We got a few guys going through the grass. That's Brandon Domain.
Yeah, Brandon Domain going through the front stretch grass. Not too sure. It sounded like he collected someone else as well.
Still
I
green.
think he had said, with green flag is still out. So for these leaders, that's what they want to see. But at the same time, these guys that just got damaged, they were hoping the yellow flag would wave. That way they could fix their damage and kind of rebound. I think Brandon, him and Daniel Keith Jr. made contact, because over the radio, Brandon instantly came over the radio and said, I'm sorry, Daniel. So it looks like the 23 of Daniel Keith Jr. had a little bit of contact from Brandon. They keep it going, though. We're green flag coming to 17 laps to go.
Yep, still moving forward, and that's the entire name of the game. Looking down the list a little bit, see who else is kind of making some big moves. And right now, Lucas Lyons up 20 positions. He is up in the top 10 now. But we've got a couple guys from JBR, from Jonathan Fire Racing. Zach Deutscher in the number 91, and Ryan Huntley right behind him in 10th and 11th. So putting on a decent little showing here for Jonathan Fire Racing as well.
Yeah, they definitely are. JBR, always has very consistent drivers. We saw that last year with only a Truck Series team. So for them to be able to, field the Xfinity Series team and kind of replicating the success they had in the Truck Series, speaks volumes of, who Jonathan Byers, putting together on this team. And obviously that's what we're seeing here tonight at Kansas with Jonathan Byer Racing. We haven't really mentioned Bo Tiffany at all. So Bo Tiffany, one of our playoff drivers last season, he is up here moving into the top 10 now for R&B Motorsports. So good to see him back out there on the track and really performing well as we move right back up front. Again, we've got Greg Olenek kind of running away a little bit right now, but Daniel Bowler, Joby Ray, Zachary Taylor holding down second, third, and fourth. Yeah, they are, and it's kind of seems like Jovi Ray's kind of, got to a little bit of a stronger car. So obviously we know these three are all sitting in Discord. Zachary Taylor, let Jovi get around. So, I got to imagine if Jovi's a little bit faster and he can tell, does Daniel let him go to, give these guys a shot of someone to, be able to go up there and chase Greg Olenek down and, possibly battle for the lead. So that's something we'll see here, if Jovi's able to get around the 6 car.
Well, going back to the 10th position, Stan Hausman in that beautiful Beer Street Journal car. He has moved up into the top 10 as somebody hits the wall right in front of him. I believe that was the 07 of Lucas Lyons.
Yeah, I think the 07 really tore the wall down there. He's going to get into it again a little bit. He kind of saves it off the wall, but yeah, the 07 definitely made some contact there. No yellow flag, obviously. We didn't see an accident there. So not too sure. It might have just got really, really tight or something like that. But up front, looks like Jovi Ray was able to get around Daniel Bowther, make his way into 2nd place. And now there's about a 2nd gap between him and Greg Olenek. So we'll see. Jovi clearly a little bit faster than his 2 teammates, Sean. Is Jovi the one that's going to be able to run down Greg Olenek and, pass him for the lead here with coming to 12 to go?
Yeah, and now we are getting into lap traffic. So as Dustin Scruggs there in the 11 is getting passed by Jovi Ray, already got passed by Greg Olenek. So we will see, and I mean he'll stay out of the way. Dustin Scruggs, good driver, good dude. So he will stay out of this. But as the rest of RSR starts to pass, they are going to try to figure out a way to get up to Greg Olenek, but Greg has opened up a 1-second lead on everyone. That's going to be tough to catch up to with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, it definitely is. You're going to have to, kind of start taking away about a 10th a lap here, on Greg if you're Jovi, or any of these guys even further behind Jovi. So, they got to, get going here. We're coming to 11 to go, so this thing's almost over here at Kansas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we are coming to that conclusion, and again, the question has to come into play of how much fuel do they have, because they did stop on lap 63, so that's a 37-lap run. We did have a caution in there, so that'll save a little bit of fuel. I think they're going to be okay. I don't hear anybody throttling it out there right now.
Yeah, either do I. I got to imagine they're probably pretty good for their fuel right now, but you never know. If we see yellow flag here in a couple laps, do guys come down pit lane? Do they try to stay out? It's just kind of the gamble of, a late race yellow flag. So we shall see. Right now, Greg Olenek, holding constant, that 1.05 second lead over 2nd place. So right now, Greg's just got to keep making sure he does not get into that outside wall, in the middle of the corner or on exit or entry. So because right now that 31 car seems to be, the best of the best right now on track.
Yeah, Adam Pettit trying to go to the low side to get past Zachary Taylor, and they would love to get another point away from RSR and onto Rev'd Reloaded. We'll see if that can work out for him here.
Yeah, we definitely will, and it kind of, you look at the ticker, there's 1/10 now down, for Greg Olenek to Jovi Ray. So if this thing's going to happen, that's kind of going to have to be what Jovi's got to do, get a 10th a lap on him, because if it stays at that 1 second, obviously, as these laps wind down, it's just going to be more and more difficult for Jovi to get to him. So, we got a car in the outside fence, so the 14 car, Zachary Taylor, right in front of Adam Pettit, kind of, flipping the roles there. Zach had a little bit of a moment, or Adam had a moment early on in front of Zach, so, able to keep this thing green flag racing. Adam Pettit now moving up into 5th, Zachary Taylor falling down to 6th, and Seth Reed, Sean, up to 3rd place now.
Yeah, he is definitely on the move with, again, another great run by Highline Racing. I've got to apologize. Adam Pettit is not on Rev Racing. He is on Rev Reloaded. And so I've always just, made him out to be the king of Rev Racing because he was the founder of it. But he is actually on Rev Reloaded. So he and Greg Olenek are actually not in the same Discord channel. They are not speaking to each other that we're aware of. But they are definitely coming together, kind of like a few guys from Royal Smith Racing and Smith Road Racing do as well.
Yeah, exactly. 2 separate teams, but at the end of the day, kind of coming from the same building, so to speak. So, just gives these teams a couple more drivers to be able to bounce ideas off of and get a feel for things each and every week. So, But again, we're coming to 5 laps to go this time, and that interval between, Greg Olenek and Jovi Ray is still looking the same. So, with 5 to go, Greg's just got to hold on to this thing and, keep it out of the outside fence. And, Jovi, is not going to be able to catch him at this rate. He's clicked off a 10th here or there. But at this point in time, it's going to need to be a lot more than that, Sean.
Yeah, looking out there. So in the chat, I'm hearing that SRR is running in the top 5. That is not accurate. That may have been a few minutes ago that we heard that from Brian Smith. But yeah, all of the top 5 drivers right now. There's 2 from Roell Smith Racing, 1 from Rev Reloaded, 1 from Rev Racing, and 1 from Highline Racing right now in the top 5. Actually, Bo Tiffany just broke into the top 5 for R&D Motorsports. So again, one of our playoff drivers moving up even further now.
Yeah, coming on strong here with only 4 to go. He's definitely got the really long run speed to be able to come up here and pass some of these guys that were, really, really quick early on. And obviously, some of these guys have used their stuff up the longer this thing's gone. Daniel Ballard, Zachary Taylor were up 2nd, 3rd, 4th place. And now they've fallen back. So, these guys, they needed that longer run. And, now their time's kind of coming to an end here. But that battle for 3rd place with, 3 laps to go is definitely going to be heating up between Adam Pettit and Seth Reed. Adam's kind of running them down a little by little. Interesting to see if he can actually get to the 81 and make a pass here.
Well, Greg Olenek has opened up a 1.2 second lead over Jovi, and Jovi has opened up a 2.5 second lead over 3rd place. So if things hold that way, I mean, they're just going to be 1 and 2, obviously. So Seth Reed and Adam Pettit, that's the closest battle in the top 5 right now, but it's still about 0.3 of a second away from each other. Let's jump back a little ways here. Ted Rekich moving up into 16th position. So you would think that's not really a Ted Rekich race. Usually he's up there in the top 5, top 10. But remember, he started off in 28th position. So he has methodically worked his way forward, doing a great job in this race.
Yeah, he definitely has. Ted obviously wanted to have a little bit stronger of a run here tonight at Kansas, and, it just wasn't able to happen for him. But, to be able to rebound, come home, top 20, maybe he gets around this 38 car in front of him for 15. But Greg Olenek going to come across the line. It's going to bring out the white flag here for the Jayhawk 150. So Greg Olenek just has to keep it off the walls here, and he's going to bring home the victory here at Kansas Speedway, as long as he doesn't catch the fence or anything like that, Sean.
Man, there is no better advertisement at all whatsoever for Kane Cook than having one of the guys that he's been working with win this race and win it convincingly. And that is exactly what Greg Olenek has done tonight in that gorgeously painted shipwreck car. But he is going to bring this thing home and take the checkered flag here at Kansas in the Jayhawk 150.
Yeah, Greg Olenek, heck of a drive, able to bring it home first, get the win. Jovi Ray going to come across the line in 2nd. Seth Reed able to hold off Adam Pettit for 3rd. So these guys, weren't up front, when that last restart happened, but a lot of movement throughout the top 10, Sean.
Yeah, relatively tame race here for the last 40 laps, and that's exactly what we like to see is kind of a tame race, kind of see the actual drivers get this thing done. Greg Olenek, just an incredible drive. One thing to remember is there are only 2 drivers from Rev Racing that are out there on the track tonight, so kind of a unique thing where the winner of the race is going to get all of these points, and really his team's not going to show too much for because they're missing some drivers.
Yeah, and that's the struggle of it with the team championship. Even though Greg had a heck of a night, winning the thing here, not having your teammates in the show, it is definitely going to hurt them in the team battle. But this thing is, we're only week 2, Sean, so. The longer this thing goes, obviously they can make up those points. And as long as you're in the top 8, you've got a chance at it.
Yes, you do. Greg Olenek just burning it down right now, and deservedly so. That was just an incredible show out there. And we expect to see great driving here at Kansas because it is definitely a driver's track. But Greg Olenek really, he redefined that here tonight.
Yeah, he definitely did. Greg going to be your winner tonight in that 31 car for Rev Racing. 2nd place going to be Jovi Ray from Roell Smith Racing. 3rd place going to be Seth Reed out of Highline Racing. 4th place going to be Adam Pettit from Rev Reloading. And Bo Tiffany going to be in 5th place rounding out the top 5 from R&D Motorsports.
Yep, and then you got Stan Houseman from R&D Motorsports in 6th. You got Daniel Bowler from Roell Smith Racing. Just kind of ran out of tires, I think, there at the end. He is in 7th. Vincent Cortez in 8th for Tank Racing. Zachary Taylor, last season raced for Tank Racing. This season for Roell Smith Racing, up in 9th. Lucas Lyons, coming up from the Truck Series, making a really, really good run here in 10th.
Yep, and 11th place Dylan Patterson for R&D Motorsports, able to come back after that spin on the restart, saved the car, able to come back 11th. Brian Huntley in 12th from Jonathan Byer Racing. Logan Joyner, the pole sitter, coming home 13th, not having the night he wanted to have out of Roell Smith Racing. Jack Hedgecock in that 14 car for Stryker Motorsports, and Ted Rekich able to rebound, get a top 15 for himself for Rev Racing. And 16th is going to be Christopher Darling for Smith Road Racing. And then 17th is going to be Tyler Markle out of Stryker Motorsports. And rounding out the top 18 tonight, going to be Zach Doischer out of Jonathan Byer Racing.
Well, tell you what, let's get this party started. Let's bring in our third-place finisher, Seth Reed. And, again, this is his first time up here in the broadcast booth with us. Seth Reed, welcome to the broadcast booth with Sean Griffith and Jake Roell. Congratulations. Great run here tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Well, buddy, tell me about it. Tell me what was the secret, because we saw you coming on really strong towards the end of those runs. Was it tire saving? Was it what was it?
Yeah, I was all saving that right front. Usually about after lap 10 is where everyone would start falling off and come back to me.
Definitely. Again, just an amazing run. Now, you're on a team that only has 3 drivers on it. So what is the difference there? Because you didn't really have a lot of teammate help out there tonight, but still getting it done as kind of almost a single car up there towards the front, as Daniel Keith got into a little bit of trouble throughout the race. Tell me about what it takes to do something like that without a teammate there to help you.
Yeah, Daniel and I, we were practicing the last couple days, and we've been practicing with the R&D crew here since Daytona, and just trying to get some laps in. And we just been looking at some tapes, looked at the last Kansas race, and we saw that the right front gave up, so we knew that was going to be the strategy, is trying to conserve that. And we're hoping to get good qualifying runs, but we both messed it up and kind of put ourselves back in the hole. And then I got an EOL the first caution, so I had a lot of cars to pass.
Definitely, and Seth, talk us through, you get that EOL, you got to go to the back again, obviously, like you just alluded to, kind of a poor qualifying tonight. What does it take to be able to pass here at Kansas in this Xfinity car?
Pretty much just settling in. Like I said, it was all about that right front, so I just maintained the position there for the first 10 laps. Like with the 58 car there, I just held my line there, tried to conserve, let off real early, hope no one bumped me in the back end, and no one did, thankfully. So like I said, once that 10 laps came around, you could cut it to the bottom if you needed to make those passes.
Well, so what is going on here as far as next week as we head to Dover? What is your experience there?
I really don't have much experience most of these tracks, honestly. These cars drive so much different than the Cup cars, and I was in a couple Cup car leagues, and these Xfinity cars are so much looser and so much more throttle response than the Cup cars, and it's like so much more fun to drive. And I honestly couldn't tell you what the game plan is for Dover. I'm guessing save the right front again.
Well, man, you did a great job of that tonight. Congratulations on again, a very, very great race and coming into this top 3 and really in one of your first races here at Speed Racing Network. So this really kind of puts a target on your back as we head to Delaware next week. So kind of be on the lookout for that. But congratulations once again on a great run.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for broadcasting and everything. I can't wait to look back at the tapes, see everyone else.
All right, buddy. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, let's check out our second place driver, and that was your pick for the night, Jovi Sagiped, or actually, I'm sorry, Jovi Ray. His last name really is Sagiped, but nobody can pronounce it except for us, so he changed it to Jovi Ray for us, but let's bring him up into the booth right now. Jovi, welcome back to the booth, buddy.
Back again. I'm getting comfortable up here.
Absolutely. Another second place finish, man. You know, we saw early on in the race, you kind of grabbed the outside wall. You know, I think it had to have been within the first 10 or 15 laps. And, you know, what was kind of going through your mind at that point? You know, you got the speed to be up front battling. But when you get in the fence, you know, kind of, did you let it get to you? You know, were you a little nervous about, you know, that early getting into the wall, or what was going on for you, Jovi?
I was just trying to find the limit, and I kind of went over it. I hit the wall, but I knew I hit it soft enough to where it didn't damage it. And I was just telling my boy Ed, I was like, yo, I just need to get into rhythm. Just let me get into rhythm. A long green flag, and I should be good. And I just didn't really think about it the whole run.
Well, man, so tell me about, I mean, your teammates were all around you basically this entire race. And so how comforting is that to have your team not just, you know, supporting you obviously in the chat, but also right next to you on the track so you guys can make moves together?
It's really comfy, because, you know, you trust the person in front of you and trust the person behind you. You know they'll give you the space, and honestly, it kind of does get nerve-wracking at some points because you have some of the biggest hard-heads in racing right now because, like, we all want to get to the front.
Oh yeah, I mean that's really where everybody wants to be, is up there in the front. But you've done a great job kind of sticking up there. You know, is there anybody you'd like to thank here tonight before we can drop you back down to your team?
Shout out to the boys at RSR. Shout out to Bowdler. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Logan. Shout out to Jake. He knew the conversation we had after our disappointment season, and we're just starting from here. And shout out to you guys for always hosting this for us.
Definitely, buddy. And, you know, next week we go to Dover. You know, kind of how do you feel about your chances there?
Very confident. Looking like hopefully a win. And maybe I'll jump up the cup because, you know, me and you have some unfinished business.
Calling out the team owner. I absolutely love it, and I would pay to see that. So we will have to see what happens next season, but maybe we'll get you guys on the same track here sometime this season as well. But buddy, congratulations once again on a great race, and we will see you next week at Dover.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, buddy. So we'll drop him back down into his group, and then let's bring in Greg Olenek, who, I mean, again, if you weren't watching, he absolutely dominated the last part of this race. And so we'll bring him up right now, our broadcast partner from Wednesdays and Sunday nights, Greg Olenek. Welcome up to the booth as a driver instead of a commentator.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Man, it's good for us. How's it going for you?
Oh, dude, it feels so good to get a win, man. Anytime in SRN, I'm sure Jake knows how it feels. It's not easy to do, especially with the level of talent we have here in the Xfinity Series. And, you know, I told you yesterday I was feeling a little more confident, but, man, I definitely did not expect that today.
Definitely, Greg. You know, first off, the car looks amazing. You come out, you have a performance like that tonight. You know, kind of, you know, what does that do for you? You know, obviously, you won at the end of the year last year. Now you roll off with a win in the second race of the season. You know, what does that do for you as a driver, knowing you're able to win early on in the season and having 18 more races to go? You know, just kind of give us, you know, your insight of, you know, how that makes you feel.
Well, man, it just builds your confidence so much. Like I said, we have so many talented drivers in here with Jovi, Mr. Pettit, Daniel Bowdler, Zachary Taylor, among others. And just to be able to outrun them on a long green run just really helps boost my confidence. And, yeah, like you said, I won Texas last year, and I went into that race super confident. I didn't have as much confidence going into Kansas, so it really helps me out knowing, hey, if I do the work that is needed, I can pull it out in the end. And man, we had some really good racing out there. I do want to apologize. We got into Daniel Bowdler when we went 3 wide there a little bit for the lead, but man, it was just some really hard racing. We had crossovers all over the place, and clean air was king today.
Well, man, we saw that all your training with Kane Cook definitely paid off this week. Are you planning another training session for next week at Dover?
Yeah, I already have, you know, a lot of confidence about Dover. It's my hometown track. I was born and raised in Dover, Delaware. I live in Charlotte now, so it's definitely important for me to do well there next week. But, yeah, I've trained with Kane last year at Dover, and we were running really well before we got into a little bit of trouble there. So yeah, I will definitely be booking another session on SpeedRacingNetwork.com with Mr. Cook.
Gotta love the shameless plug there, Greg. Well, congrats again on the win tonight here at Kansas for the Jayhawk 150. So enjoy it, and looking forward to seeing what you have next week at Dover.
Well, buddy,
I appreciate
anybody
it.
you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, so I got a whole bunch of people I would like to thank. First and foremost, my loving girlfriend Carlene, who lets me do this every night, and she doesn't complain about it. So I gotta brag about her. And my dad was actually watching tonight back home in Dover. So I got to say hey to him and thanks for watching. We got a bunch of sponsors on board, as always, Moo and Brew. A little bit of a special paint scheme this week, the Shipwreck theme for their Halloween ball this year. I absolutely love this car. Put it together real quick. And Full Throttle Racing and Sports as well. And then we have some team sponsors over at Rev2, Long MacArthur Ford in Kansas. We got Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing and Silverback Tax Solutions, as well as iRacing iFlag. Got to thank all of them and my Rev Racing teammates, as well as my spotter tonight, Kyle Spees.
Buddy, that's a lot of thank yous. I know you've got a lot of fans out there, especially your paint schemes and everything that you put together every single week. But here's what we're going to do right now on the screen. And I know you can't see this unless you're actually watching the broadcast, but we are going to put your winner sticker right next to your name there.
Hey.
So nice little winner sticker there. Congratulations, Greg Olenek. And, man, we will see you next week at Dover.
Thanks so much, Sean. I appreciate you guys as always up in the booth. You do a fantastic job as always.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. Have a great night. We'll see you Sunday for the broadcast, but we'll see you next week at Dover.
Take care.
See you, Greg. Congrats.
All right. Well, man, great week and great racing just like we expected it to be. So let's go and check out what next week's race is going to be like as we invade Delaware.
Yeah, Sean, Dover, Delaware. Home of the Monster Mile, the nickname for Dover. It is going to be a grueling battle for these drivers, especially not having a fast repair. Last year they had one, and, there were a ton of cars damaged. So now with no fast repair, it's only going to, raise the level of sparks flying, and tempers are surely going to be flaring. But it's going to be a long night for these guys. They're going to have to keep that car clean as long as possible. Not getting into that outside wall. This track is, kind of unlike any other, just with how it, when you go into these corners, Sean, it's like a roller coaster. You kind of drop down into the corner, it is just unlike anything else. So these guys, they're definitely going to have to be putting in that practice all week long. And you could check that out here again next Thursday, July 29th at 8 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, man, and then our very next broadcast right back here at Kansas for the Jayhawk 195 in the Cup Series, and so we're going to see those really, really powerful cars out here on this track trying to make it around with all these different lines, all these different things that you can do here. So I expect to see a lot of really great driving, and that's going to be Sunday, July 25th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Do not miss it because you got Jake Roell himself that will be on the track.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race. Kansas Speedway is a blast. Obviously, you've heard it the last two nights from all these drivers. This is one of the more favorable tracks on the schedule, and for the Cup cars, you can really run a lot of different lines. You'll see the high line work with the Cup car. You can run on the bottom as well for a little bit longer of a time. So it's going to be a lot of side by side, too wide. Side drafting guys with that just how the Cup car works and the package it has. So it's going to be, fireworks there tonight or Sunday night, July 25th. So make sure you check that race out for that Jayhawk 195. It surely will not disappoint like we've seen these last two nights here.
Well, for everyone here at Speed Racing Network, we appreciate all of our fans out there, all of our viewers, all the drivers, all the admins, everyone that has helped us out, including our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. But for now, we will sign off and just remind you always to go faster.